So the TMZ reporter, Kelsey Conway, that's what everyone calls her in my comic sections. Just the TMZ reporter, pretty much. Anyway, though, Kelsey Conway went on Patt McAfee show to talk about the T. Higgins situation. And I want to react to this today, kind of give my thoughts and opinions, and let's get right into it. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm about to cover half the screen up for obvious reasons, but let's go ahead and get right into it. Let me play it.
A little bit. He's not there, hasn't signed the franchise tag. We all know that he's a stud. He knows he's a stud. There's a lot of teams that would be loving to have him on their roster right now, pay him as a number one guy. But I think he even acknowledges the situation that's going on around him contract-wise. Him not being there, big deal. How are you guys viewing it in Cincinnati right now with T?
I think everyone is viewing it as it's similar to what happened with Jesse a couple of years ago, Jesse Bates. It's a lot of similarities there.
I don't think you can in any way compare T. Higgins' situation to Jesse Bates' situation. Jesse Bates was just trying to get what he was owed for his market and what his market value was. I think T is trying to chase a lot more money than that. T's agent, obviously, is Deshaun Watson's agent, so there is some, connection there. And also, Jesse Bates never went to the media. He never requested a trade. He never threw a tantrum. I don't think we can compare the two. Please, do not put that type of energy in any way toward Jesse. Jesse Bates was an amazing player. Listen, we tried to offer him a contract. We tried to work with him. It didn't work out. He left us. Do not connect that to T. Higgins' situation.
But it's different in that I've done a lot of reporting on this situation, and the main difference from what I've gathered is that T. Higgins' camp, there's two things here. They felt like the initial offer that they were looking for was similar to Michael Pittman's deal with the Colts, which I know you obviously know a lot about, being in Indianapolis and playing for them.
Hell yeah.
That's kind of the deal that T. Higgins was looking for. He was never looking for a deal that would make him the highest paid player. Like, he's fully aware that Ja'Marr Chase is playing aside of him. From what I have learned, that his camp felt that the Bengals' initial one-time offer was so low that it couldn't even move into a conversation about guaranteed money. So it was never about guaranteed money. And then they never tried again. So both sides never tried again because the initial offer was so low. And I think from Higgins' camp, the frustration comes in that 6 of the 7 players this year that were franchise tagged got long-term deals done. And his side basically...
See, this is why, and I know we're never going to get it because this is not how the Bengals work, but this is all, obviously, again, from T. Higgins' side. And also, Kelsey Conway, I know you guys call him TMZ reporter, she might be completely incorrect. She might be fabricating all this just so that, there's talk and chatter and, T. Higgins looks better, right? It's very possible she's just doing that as well. The sad part is we're never going to learn the other side of this fence. We're never going to learn the Bengals side because, if you listen to what she says, the Bengals sound bad. But it could be completely different. It could be that the Bengals did offer him a same offer as, as Michael Pittman, and he said no, right? Again, looking at this, realistically speaking, it just doesn't make sense for the Bengals not to offer him anything good. Like, it's not like this is a bad receiver. They know this is a great receiver for them. They know that he's not going to take just nothing. So I don't get it. Because if you're going to offer him pretty much nothing, then just don't offer him a contract at all. But again, like I said, this is the problem with only having one side of the story, is that anyone can say whatever they want. And Conway here could be kind of like a loose goose here of just kind of saying whatever, T wants her to say. So
basically believes like the spirit of the franchise tag is to allow more time for a long-term deal to get done. But from the Bengals side, I mean, they got to pay Ja'Marr Chase. So, you can see both sides here, right? Like, the Bengals have a lot of people they need to pay. I'm sure they'd love to be able to keep T. Higgins. But from his side, from the player's side, the franchise tag kind of sucks. But it doesn't really suck that bad when you're going to get $22 million guaranteed. So I do think he will report.
Which, again, they can easily go ahead and keep franchise tagging him for another 2 years. I said in one of my videos they can only franchise tag him twice. And the reason why I said that is because I don't think a third time they would do it based on how much it would cost them. But they can, in theory, franchise tag him for the next 3 seasons. It's just, again, it's such a weird idea, because it's like, if you're not interested in signing him, I don't see why they would even offer him a contract in the first place. If they're like, listen, dude, like, we know we're not going to pay you anywhere near what you want to get paid. We're not even interested in, doing any of this stuff. So we're just not even going to offer you a contract. And we're just going to kind of franchise tag you and let you go. I don't see why they would why they would offer him such a low contract, and then he's like, nope. And they're like, all right, cool. We're never doing this again. It's just, I don't know, it's just a weird situation when you look at how good he is. You would think, again, based on the side we get, which is T. Higgins' side here, and Kelsey Conway, you would think they would offer him a couple different deals and kind of go back and forth and see how high he will go, or how, high they want to go for T. Higgins. Because I'm sure going to any, contract negotiation, you always have a number that the low number that you want to get someone for, and then you go all the way up to a high number that you don't want to give, but you'll give if it ends up being that is how it's going to work out, right? So there's always a certain number that works out, that you have in your head that you want to pay the player, or you want to get the player for. So again, it just doesn't really make all too much sense when you just listen to the T. Higgins side here, because for the Bengals wise, why not just not offer him a contract at all then? Like, offering him a contract, you're just wasting your time if you're going to offer him nothing, pretty much. I don't know. It seems like a lot of he say, she say, father, and let's just listen to the rest of this.
At some point during training camp. I don't anticipate him being in Cincinnati at all this offseason. And I think it'll be kind of similar to what you saw with Jesse Bates, where maybe one of those final weeks of the preseason, he'll show up. But the thing to watch here is he has had some soft tissue injuries in the past. So you wonder how long would he want to be away, to make sure he's ready for week 1.
And then the situation still just boggles my mind when you really break it down and think about it. And then the situation of, okay, so he can't technically, until he signs a franchise tag, he can't go and work out with the Bengals. That's just a fact. Like, he needs to sign the franchise tag in order to go work out with the Bengals. Again, the point of not signing the franchise tag is to push more, news out there, say, hey, listen, come sign me, come do something, right? And he's going to, again, sign at the last possible second, which is July 16th. Now, once he signs franchise, again, by July 16th, if you don't, you get heavily fined. I don't see why he wouldn't go and work out and play with the Bengals. That doesn't really make sense to me, because he's not gaining anything by refusing to play with us once he signs the franchise tag. Now, I don't know the complete background of it, but I'm pretty sure, and again, this is speculation here, if you sign the franchise tag, you have to show up to training camp. And that's why the franchise tag is right before training camp. The deadline is, it's July 15th, which training camp usually starts at July 25th, July 24th, depending on what team. So I believe you have to show up to training camp or you'll be fined. So I don't think you can just sit out until preseason. I don't believe you can. Now, I might be incorrect. I know she said Jesse Bates did, but again, like I said, unless I can 100% fact check her here, I don't know if that's accurate or not. I don't really remember the Jesse Bates situation as much when it comes to him sitting out. But again, like I said, I don't see the reason why he would sit out, personally. It's a messed up situation. It really is. And the sad part is we're just getting one side of the story. We're not getting two sides. So it's like we're being fed like, oh yeah, the Bengals are bad. The Bengals are bad. The Bengals are horrific. They didn't try. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, if you look at it from that side, the Bengals look horrendous. But this is why, again, and I know we're not going to get it because it's a company versus a player here. This is why it's so difficult to kind of have speculation of like, who's in the wrong, who's in the right, until we get all the information. I think, personally speaking, I don't know if this is 100% true, how much we paid him or we offered him. I don't know, though, because the Bengals have been cheap in their history. They have been cheap when it comes to them offering stuff in the past. To the point of, like, well, they're doing it because they have to pay T. Higgins and then they have to pay Jamar Chase. I don't know if that's impossible to work out. If he wanted the Michael Pittman deal, that's actually not a bad deal, and I think they could work out a contract with him if he had a Pittman deal. And then you look, again, with Jamar Chase and how much Jamar Chase is going to want to get. I don't know. And Jamar Chase says he's not going to give want money from the same area that, T. Higgins will. There's a lot of, like, things out there being said, that's talked about, and it's just so much that it counters each of its own points. Like, there's so many things that just go against one another, which, again, the age old. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next one. Peace.